First and foremost, the Oswald Companies is one of the largest, oldest, privately held, employee-owned insurance risk management firms in the United States. We happen to be headquartered here in Cleveland, Ohio. We are in the commercial property casualty, employee benefit, financial services, retirement plans business, but we have a very significant life insurance practice. My background in history is I started in 1976, once upon a time in Boston, Massachusetts, as an agent with the once venerable Connecticut Mutual Life Insurance Company. This is my original rate book. They gave me the rate book and the phone book, and they said, good luck, go to work. So I've been in the life business for 42 years. I have been honored, and frankly, it's been candidly my experience in having worked as the chair of the Connecticut Mutual Agents Advisory Committee, but I also led the Connecticut Mutual Life Insurance Company in sales in 1989 and 1982, and I've got an incredible war chest of relationships and friends that are frankly top producers. Many of us were all members of the top of the table, the International Forum, $1 Million Roundtable, AALU together. So I've got a lot of history and depth, but I think the most germane thing you want to hear about today is the fact in the late 80s, early 90s, many of the major mutual life insurance companies, the Connecticut Mutual, Mutual of New York, Mutual Benefit, were basically under siege because they had made significant investments and then frankly gotten over their skis in deploying capital in real estate. As a result of which, their what was once known prolific dividend scale that they were rewarding back to their mutual policyholders was shrinking and suffering. And as a result of which, policies that were enforced for many, many years that were once thought to be extremely solid and frankly quite strong were falling apart. And as a result of which, clients, in particular, fiduciaries, trustees of major institutions such as here in Cleveland, Ameritrust, and elsewhere, their particular trustees were finding it very challenging because the underbelly of these policies were basically being eroded. People who were thinking that they had irrevocable life insurance trusts that were going to last forever were not. And it wasn't just a byproduct of whole life with dividends faltering. There was a whole generation of universal life insurance products that were brought into the market back in the early 80s, where interest crediting rates were frankly at the 10, 12, 13% range. Well, that fell off the map very quickly. And as a result of which, on a defense posture basis, the only way the insurance companies could frankly offset some of the issues and complexities they had with their policies was to raise their mortality rates. Well, this was not known, frankly, to many of the trustees. And people who were paying premiums in these policies of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year to fund for charitable purposes or estate tax planning purposes, these policies were then requiring much more in the way of premiums, which unfortunately created really a head of a stir for these, what I would call fiduciaries or trustees. So subsequently, Oswald Company set up Oswald Specialty Life, which was established clearly as an independent, completely independent completely independent firm to do one thing and one thing only: evaluate, audit, and assess the performance of these policies so that the trustees would have the basic equivalency of a barometer from which to work on to advise their clients. So we went in completely on a fee basis. It was tremendously paper-laden. You can't imagine the amount of work we did just with personnel. So to fast forward to today with Performix, with the automation of the data feed and the ability to do what Performix can and in fact would do for trustees, for insurance brokers, for frankly agents that are no longer in the business, there are now, I'm sure, blocks and blocks of policies that the major life insurance companies are frankly surfacing. That honestly, they're a combination of a lot of consolidations going on in the industry, a lot of agents have aged out of the business, and frankly, the only ones who are really doing an outstanding job of training and developing agents these days, which they used to bountifully back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there's only a handful of them today. New York Life, Guardian, Northwestern Mutual, Mass Mutual. So, and most of their efforts around these agents are to focus them as truly financial planners, and they're seeking to gain more access to assets under management, not professionally managed life insurance policies. And herein lies the opportunity, I believe, for all of you who are listening to me right now to say, how do I best service my policyholders? How do I best know how to protect my fiduciary from a fiduciary perspective, the beneficiaries, the people that have counted on me to be able to set up these policies when in fact the underbelly of the industry is going through, quite frankly, a tumultuous change, much having to do with consolidation, much having to do with the proliferation and the natural generation of whole life, universal life, variable universal life, group variable life, I mean, it's a very complex world, and people don't know what they've got, and there's not, quite frankly, enough good, strong, competent agents in the field or brokers servicing these policies. Add to which, an awful lot of people from the investment world have come in the banking world to sell insurance. And who's helping them service these policies? They put the policies on the books, but who's helping the consumer? And so I guess therein lies the reason why Performex, in my opinion, is such a great safety net and an opportunity for you to come in and gain access with independent, objective advice to determine from the Comdex basis, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, Duff & Phelps, are these policies still being well represented by carriers that are financially solid and sound? We can provide you that information. Are these policies operating in the red? Are they on the bubble? Are they yellow? Or are they doing very well in the green, which means that they're going to be able to do exactly what those who had set up the policies, the estate planning lawyers, the accountants, the financial planners, intended to do for the benefit of their clients.